Hey there, welcome to the Design Lab. I'm Adam. Got a super ancient comic coming your way today. Early appearance of Superman, May 1939. Action Comics number 12. 64 pages of thrills, according to the cover. Superman's story is not 64 pages. Interesting thing about the cover is that Superman is not the main feature. He's like just kind of like another thing. It's like they haven't really caught on how much more important and memorable a character Superman is compared to Zatara. Zatara, by the way, the magician, is the father of Zatanna, right? The magician chick, DC's sexiest superhero, wearing fishnet stockings. So, anyways, great cover. I like the cover a lot. Almost don't even need Superman. Just keep this part. The pose for this guy, Zaytara, is not very exciting. He's just kind of like, but he's kind of got a vibe similar to Doctor Strange, and it's signed by Guardinier. I don't know who that is. I feel like Fred Guardinier is a name, but I have no idea. Anyways, Action Comics number 12, May 1939. Let's take a look. I'm picking this as I read through. I'm reading through these in Spanish, but I have the English edition to show you guys. But as I read through these, I just every now and then I pick one that I think is kind of interesting. So this one I thought was very interesting because the enemy is very unexpected and unusual, not science fiction like the cover might lead you to think. Superman at this point was not really fighting anything like supernatural, no other superpowers. It's pretty much just always Superman against like gangsters or some people or some criminal who are just humans. And Superman's deal is that he's better than them. But that's what makes Superman's great is that he, even though he has all these powers, he doesn't use it to abuse people and be a king of the planet. He's just a humble, crime-busting servant. So, anyways, we recap Superman. Clark's on the job doing his reporter thing, and there's some dead guy. He got killed in a car accident or something by a reckless driver. And, and basically, Clark's like, man, our traffic in this city is horrible. People drive really, really poorly. That's basically going to be the enemy that Superman's fighting. And I guess you can kind of think about it. I was thinking of several things when this came up. Is that one, 1930s is the red decade, very socialist, kind of a rejection of like the system that toppled the U.S. into the Great Depression in 1929. Suddenly like there was this. The 20s were all this capital building up and all this wealth, and then all of a sudden the whole country had to suffer because of the dreams of the stock market and all these other investors. So there was like a lunge towards more of a socialism, and you see a lot of gangster movies in the 1930s, a lot of just a lot of things that were very different from both the 20s and the 40s. The 40s was kind of a reverse back towards the united government, strong united vision of the world, stronger law and order. If you see like this balance between chaos and law and order. So, anyways, Superman in the 1930s is basically he's literally a social justice warrior. That's what he's fighting, and it's still kind of unclear if he's flying. He swings as he leaps. He's just kind of doing these big leaps. They haven't really decided that he can fly at this point, which is kind of funny. And also notice that on his chest, his emblem is almost all yellow, unless they actually zoom in on it. But a lot of times it's just like this yellow triangle, and you can barely even tell it it's an S. It's kind of a bad branding decision. Anyway, Superman, after his friend gets killed by a car, he rushes to the radio station, he breaks down doors, and he goes on WVUX. I don't know what that is. WVUX. And he basically says, hey man, if you're driving badly, I'm coming for you. And then he breaks through a wall. He's just destroying things right and left. The cops come, and he's like, see you later, bye. And this is a very different Superman. He's like not working with the law. He's more of a vigilante, and he can't fly. He just does these weird leaps. So, anyways, he goes down and he starts. It's also worth remembering, 1939, there were a lot of cars by then, but a lot of people didn't have cars. And I'm guessing, I don't know, I don't really know if Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the well, I think they created Superman when they were teenagers. They were very young, and they were just like middle class Jewish kids who, I don't know, maybe they didn't have cars. I'm against cars, so I think this story resonated with me because I hate cars. Last year, I was in Japan for 3 months. I didn't go in a car for 3 months. I walked or I took the train everywhere, and it was wonderful. So, anyway, Superman, he's on board with that. He goes to a used car salesman and he just starts destroying cars. It's just weird. He's like not even distinguishing between. Okay, he kind of does. He says like, "Oh, these are junk cars. People are going to crash and die. So like, I'm going to destroy them." But he has no respect for private property whatsoever. This is probably the greatest panel in the whole history of comics. Whoopee, hick, some fun. Some drunk driver swerving along. Superman gets in his way. Takes the guy over the water, and then he puts him down. Superman gets hit by a car, and the driver's like, "Ha ha, fuck you." But a hit skip, I think that must be like an older term for a hit and run driver before they kind of settled on hit and run. A hit skip driver. That sounds kind of like hit skip, blah, blah, blah. Like it's got a jazziness to it. Stop, you've hit someone. Stop, nothing. I'm getting away from here. He's hitting, skipping. The Superman runs after him, hops in the car, and starts telling him he'll haunt them. He's a very sinister Superman. Like he doesn't quite have the same sense of morality. I can't feel like the modern Superman would haunt people. Superman's ghost. He goes to a car factory. He just destroys the factory. Very bizarre Superman. Finally, there's a dangerous curvy road, and he basically destroys it and makes it a straight road. That's how he solved that problem. This guy says, the mayor says, like, this Superman, he's a hoodlum. Why can't you cops get him? So Superman harasses him and goes really fast in his car. Strange stuff. I think notice though that the art is not very remarkable at this point. It's very like I think Dick Tracy is a strong influence, but the backgrounds are pretty boring. The characters there. So I just thought this was kind of an odd Superman story because he's basically fighting an industry. It'd be like, what would it be like now if, I don't know if it'd be like cell phones because cell phones have been around so much and pretty much everybody has a cell phone now, but back then everybody didn't have a car. So what would be the equivalent now? Maybe like virtual reality, like that level of cultural infusion. Like a lot of people do it, but not everyone. And you could still say like this entire phenomenon, this media is destroying the world and it's bad, etc. So anyways, I thought also it's kind of interesting. It ends with, I don't know, maybe this is the first appearance of Batman in print. I don't know if this came out before or after the May issue of Detective Comics, but this is certainly one of the first appearances of Batman, promoting it at the end of Superman. It's also kind of clear that they realized that, I heard this Batman was created in response to Superman, to create sort of a dark figure that's the opposite of Superman. That may be true. And they clearly recognized that, people who read Superman might also be interested in Batman. Batman also transformed quite a bit from his early appearances. Oh, the final irony is that as Clark, he's like made some changes with the car laws and hoping to improve things. He drives home and he gets a ticket because he parked. What did he do? He parked in the wrong place. So more bureaucracy. Thanks a lot, Clark. The end. See you in the next issue, the next episode of Design Lab. Bye.